Teachers, this is Tiff here. I have a few of you that have been asking how to curtail music for students now that you are not seeing them in person. So I'm going to go ahead and go over how to do it in preview. I'm going to do it with Let It Go. So we're going to go ahead and open that. Actually, not in Acrobat. So Control, click, open with preview. And I have found that this is actually the easiest way. You can do it whatever way you want. I'm sure you'll find ways that work best for you. This is what I found works best for me. So Let It Go is a popular one, of course. We're going to go to Tools, Annotate. I just click on rectangle and then delete it, and that brings up this menu bar. I'm sure there's a better way to get to this menu bar. So the student, let's say they're 5 or 6, they probably know some of these letters and where they are on the keyboard, but they're really going to need to have every single finger number written in. So I go up here to the text box. I made my text box blue. It tends to stand out better. So I just came here and selected blue, and I do it for about every measure, and I've seen, for me, it works best to start from the back and come forward just because of how this works. So you can tell by looking at this that you're going to want to put your, let me see, 4th finger on D because you're going to have to get all the way down to A. So if your 4th finger is on D, that is going to make this E a 5. We're just going to push it down here. And then the next one would be a 5 and a 5, 5, and another 5. And then your D would be 4. You can see it's not very uniform. So stretch it out to make it one single line. And then hover until you get the hand, and then you can move it down. And then you can really space it out. So it's really those ones that have weird spacing. Yeah, so we'll just pull these guys back. Pull this 4 back. Push the 5. Okay, so that's pretty close. You can see they're pretty much above where they need to be. Maybe these ones you could pull back a little bit. And then move the whole thing over. Okay, so then you get another text box, get the hand, drag it up, stretch it out. And okay, so we're going to start from the back. So C would be 3. We have another C. Just move it where it needs to go. And then we have this C, this C. That would be 4. And your E would be 5. Let's see how well this lines up. Not too bad. I'm going to pull it in there and pull these guys in. Move it down. Yeah, that's pretty good. And so you would just go down and do this for the whole page. Just keep making text boxes, and then come up here and get this drawing tool. It could be black or blue, whatever you want. And I go through and I X out the ties because you're not going to play that. You're going to hold through. So let's pretend we text box did all the finger numbers up here for this line. So we're going to come down to this line where we have the G's, because we had a 1 on A, and that only takes us to a pinky on E. So how are we going to get this G? And you can tell by looking ahead, it looks like you probably have to move to C position. So we're going to do exactly what we were doing above, but we're going to now keep in mind that we're in C position. So starting from the D here, D in C position would be 2. I'm just going to push it down with the space bar pretty close to where it'll be. And then E is 3 and G is 5. And if it won't go anymore, you can always push it down with your space bar. And then move the whole text box over and see how close you got to your spacing, which is pretty good on this one. That's about right. So the number is right above the note and the letter. I would go back because this is a move. So whenever you move, you want to circle the number. Circle number means move or stretch. But in this case, it means move. So let's say they don't know where G is. That's how new this student is. We're going to draw them a picture of G. It's not going to look great. It's going to be pretty messy, actually. But, I went up, I got this tool. It's actually in black, which is fine. And you can see the thickness of it is here, which is fine. And we're just going to draw the 4 keys that G is a part of. And then we're going to make it a little thicker for the black keys. Now you can't start drawing in here. It won't give you the tool. You kind of have to come up until you get the tool and then just do it. So like I said, it's not going to look pretty, but it gives them something to start from. And then get your text box. This is for G. Make sure you get it to the hand tool so then you can move it and stick the G there. So now if this student doesn't know where the G key is, they can look here and you can say, oh, you got to put your 5 there because the circled number means move. And then, of course, make sure this is back into what we were using, black. And you can come through and, if it'll let you, come through and cross out your ties because you're going to hold through. And then you would continue on making text boxes. Make sure you actually get it. Oh, here it is. I couldn't see it. So here's a text box. I'm going to drag it down. That one we're going to do 2 measures. We're going to make sure it's our blue. We are in C position now. So this D would be a 2. We'll push it down with the space bar to where it would be. And we'll come back and get the rest of these. Push them down because it's not going anymore. And that too. Make sure we have the hand tool to move it. And what do you know? That one, the spacing almost completely worked out. Okay, so yeah. And then, of course, we would do it again. Get your text box. We already have one here because we clicked it too many times. Make sure that it's blue or whatever color you want. Blue, red probably isn't a great choice. Okay, so now you can see there's an A. So let's scroll down and see if we're going to move our entire hand. It doesn't look like it. So that A is just going to be a stretch. We'll stretch to it, and then we'll put our pinky back. 3. Remember, we're still in C position. See if we need to align it. It's pretty good. So I would come back and get the pen tool. It's black, which is fine. And I'm going to circle that. Oh, make sure I have the pen tool. Pen. There we go. I'm going to circle this 5 because it's going to be a stretch. Now, if you don't like that because it's too close to the number, just click on it and hit delete and try again. Okay, circle number means move. In this case, it means stretch. We're going to cross out our ties because you're not going to play those. You're going to hold through. And again, maybe they don't know what A looks like. So let's draw them the A picture. Get a thinner pen here because otherwise it's just going to be too big. And we're going to draw the 4 keys that A is a part of. And then we'll get a thicker pen for the black keys. Again, you have to start a little bit above. Otherwise it won't give you the pen. Give me the pen. There it is. And another text box. And this is for A. Get the hand tool so we can move it, and we'll put it right there on A. So now they know that's what A looks like. 4 keys with 3 black keys. And they're going to put their 5th finger on it. So this is what you would do for the whole page. I timed myself, and it took me just to do 1 page, 15 minutes. So if your student has a 30-minute lesson, you might not want to take up the 15 minutes doing this. You can always have them review pages in their book. Say, oh, I want you to play pages 1 through 10 3 times each and say the letter names out loud. And that'll give you time to do this. Or I'm going to show you another way where you just print the page, write it out, take a picture, send it to Zoe, and she'll give it to the student. Because even at this point, you still have to save it and email it to Zoe or I so we can pass it on to the student. They can print it out, and then they'll have it at the next lesson. If you have a student who has an hour-long lesson, taking 15 minutes to do this while they review songs or theory or scales is probably fine while you're writing this out on your computer. Ideally, we want you to do this during lesson time because that's the time you're getting paid, and not do it on your own time when you're not getting paid. So you want to try and find things to have the student do while you do this. Like I said, 15 minutes was 1 page. So maybe you only do, 2 lines this lesson, and the next lesson you finish up, you do the other 2 lines, you save it, you send it to Zoe and I, and we pass it on. You don't have to do this for the entire song in 1 30-minute lesson for a 5 or 6-year-old, because it's going to take them probably a month or 2 just to get through 1 page. So there's no point in rushing to notate the finger numbers for the entire song. Hi teachers, so I am going to show you what I think might be an easier, faster way to notate the finger numbers for the students. Find the music that they want. I would, again, probably only do 1 page if they're really a beginner, because it's going to take them like a month or 2 to get through all of this. And I'm just going to do it by hands. Let me see if I can angle this down. Oh gosh. Okay, so this is Let It Go again. So now I'm just going to write in what we did on the screen. I'm going to draw a picture of D, in case they don't know. And D was 4, I believe. I'm crossing out all of the ties because you're not going to play those. You're going to hold through. Okay, this is where we move to C position. Maybe they don't know what a G looks like, so I'm going to draw one. And then they'll know. And then they got this little stretch to A here at the bottom again. Maybe they don't know what A looks like yet. They're still working on it. So I'm going to draw them a picture of A. And that way they'll know. Let me show you guys this. Okay, so you can see that I drew a picture of D so they know what their starting note is, what it looks like. They have the finger number. And then I just wrote in all the finger numbers. I crossed out the tie because you're not going to play that. You're going to hold through. Same thing, just finger numbers, Xing out the ties, everything we did in preview. But as you can see, it's much faster. I did this in, I don't know, 90 seconds. So then I would literally just take a picture of it with your phone and text it to the studio and say, can you please send this to Maya for her lesson? You know, and then hopefully her parents will print it out and she has it. That's definitely something you can do in a 30-minute lesson while the student reviews 5 or 10 pages of music. Again, you can say, oh, just play every song twice, say the letter names out loud, which I'm sure they'll huff and puff at because they never like to say the letter names out loud. It does make it a little more difficult, but it is very valuable. So that is 2 ways that you can mark up a student's music during the lesson. This way is way faster. So this might be the way you want to do it for 30-minute lessons. And doing it in preview might be the way you want to do it for hour-long lessons. If you don't know how to get to preview, you just go to your hard drive, go to applications, and preview should be in there, especially if you have a Mac. It comes for free on any Mac. If you don't have a Mac, you're going to have to find another program that allows you to write all over the music. Okay, I'm going to hold this up again so you can see the little pictures I drew of the keys right there. Where is it? There it is. And then there's another one. So if they really don't know what they're doing, they will after you draw the picture and you put the finger number in. I hope this helps. The more you do it in preview, the faster you'll get. But clearly, this is really the fastest.